perhaps even by the ancestors of today's cyanobacteria.
We're looking at sort of a cross-section through the top of these cones and the layers that were laid down year after year. And the fact that they're all different sizes on this one surface shows that there was a colony of microorganisms growing on this one bedding plane. And that's really fascinating because it means that life evolved on this planet very early and very fast.
And it's the cyanobacteria that would bring about the most astounding change in Earth's history. A change that could have started as early as 3.5 billion years ago. Over time, stromatolites would spread out across the planet. As a byproduct of photosynthesis, the ancient bacteria produced a waste gas, oxygen. The oxygen was absorbed into the oceans at first. There it combined with iron erupting from undersea volcanoes to form iron oxide particles that fell to the ocean floor. Over the next several 100 million years, the planet literally rusted. There may have been other forces at work, but eventually, all the iron was turned into oxide, building up layer after layer, one of the most valuable mineral deposits on Earth, iron ore. Located in Western Australia, this is one of the world's largest iron mines. The iron here was originally deposited on the floor of a primordial ocean.
Control Blast 2, we're at the firing position, stop is connected. We'll fire in 10 seconds with a 5-second countdown.
Roger, Blast 2.
Every week they excavate 500,000 tons of iron ore, used to make steel for everything from cars to skyscrapers.
4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
In a more pristine state, thousands of ancient layers of iron ore are preserved in the Karajini Gorge, just 30 miles from the mine. The layers exist because different amounts of iron oxide were deposited at different times of the year. Cyanobacteria produced oxygen in varying amounts as water temperature changed with the seasons. All over the world, vast amounts of iron ore were laid down in similar ways. On our day-long clock, this process continued until 1 in the afternoon. Eventually, oxygen produced by cyanobacteria began to build up in the atmosphere. Slowly but surely, this transformed the planet. Over the next 8 hours or so, tiny microbes raised the level of oxygen from less than 1% to today's 21%. The time was about 9 p.m. It's amazing to contemplate, but without cyanobacteria, there would be no oxygen, and Earth would still be smothered in noxious gases. Plants, animals, and humans would have never evolved.
We're sitting here today breathing an oxygen-rich mixture of air. We couldn't be here without that oxygen, but that oxygen wasn't present on the early Earth, and it only became present because of the activity of photosynthetic organisms.
Life has made this environment what we know. It's allowed us to live on the surface. It allows us to breathe. It allows large organisms like we are to function at very high rates of activity.
The oxygen also helped protect life from the sun's lethal ultraviolet radiation by creating a layer of ozone in the upper atmosphere.
One of the fascinating properties of that is that it actually screens out, just sort of like a sunscreen does on your skin, screens out this harmful radiation.
With the protection of the ozone layer, life was able to diversify into more complex organisms. It took only the last 3 hours of the day for all other life forms on our planet to evolve. The first multicellular life emerged at 6 minutes past 9 in the evening. Then came fish and insects and reptiles. By about 10 minutes to 11 in the evening, dinosaurs roamed the earth. The first primates appeared at 20 to midnight. And with less than 30 seconds to go, the first humans made their appearance.
It's only been the last 10% of the Earth's history where there was life on the surface of the Earth that you would see with your naked eye. So for most of Earth's history, life has basically been invisible on the Earth.
Over 1 billion or 2 billion years, the amount of oxygen that these little creatures produced was enough to actually change the entire atmosphere of the planet.
Multicellular life that we're most familiar with, animals, plants, their environment was made possible by the slow, toilsome task of bacteria to oxygenate the atmosphere.
Microbes ruled the Earth for more than 3 billion years, 2/3 of its history. These tiny organisms had transformed an entire planet. Without them, complex life, humans included, would have never evolved.
Stay tuned for more About Origins, a NOVA miniseries. But first,
Frontline provides me with information that makes me think.
First I shout at the television. You gotta be kidding!
You won't see this anywhere else.
The stories hit close to home.
Truth is a very valuable commodity.
They're uncompromising.
I want to do something. I want to take action.
It changed the way I actually live my life. It lets me make up my mind. I trust it.
When I watch Frontline,
it makes me angry and it makes me want to voice it.
I want to make a difference.
We can make a difference.
Frontline.
These guys are my heroes.
Coming up tomorrow night on Origins, where are the aliens? Nova is on the hunt for answers.
Is our little planet Earth the only place where the action is?
We're definitely not alone. It's inconceivable how big things are. To think that we're alone here is ridiculous.
If extraterrestrial life is really out there, what makes us think we can find it?
We're finding new planets like crazy. These planets could be much stranger, much more bizarre than any theories that had ever been conjured before.
Then, the ultimate mystery. How did the cosmos come to be? How did the universe cook up the perfect ingredients for life? The cosmic quest starts with a bang, ends with us, and tells a new story of what happened in between.
We are actually on the brink of a revolution of unimaginable proportions.
A scientific detective story takes you back to the beginning of everything on Origins, a Nova miniseries, tomorrow night on PBS.